Well, Premier Doug Ford and former Solicitor General Sylvia Jones are going to court to try to avoid testifying at the so-called Freedom Convoy inquiry.
CP24 Chanel Call is at Queen's Park with the latest on this story. Chanel, good morning.
Good morning, Nick and Jen. So they've been asked to head to Ottawa to take part in this testimony about how the federal government decided to enact the Emergencies Act to handle those occupiers that gathered in Ottawa months ago. And now we're hearing that Doug Ford and Sylvia Jones are saying, no, we will not go, and we're challenging that in court. They're citing something called parliamentary privilege, which means that they are citing the responsibility to be here at Queen's Park behind us here in Toronto and be part of the session here as a reason why they can't head to Ottawa. They also say the evidence they have is, quote, not necessary to this commission. Now, lawyers for the National Inquiry have said summons were issued on Monday after Ford and Jones repeatedly refused to appear voluntarily, but the Premier had said last week that he'd never been asked to testify. Also, he was noticeably absent yesterday from the ledge.
Seem to be dodging the question. He should be before the inquiry, and the whole party seems to have decided that he shouldn't have to answer these kinds of questions. That doesn't make sense to me.
So at issue here is what role Doug Ford and Sylvia Jones had in responding to that occupation. Evidence presented so far suggests that Ottawa had been asking Ontario for more police resources. There were also some texts that came up between the Prime Minister and Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson that was released as evidence in this case. It revealed Trudeau suggested Ottawa was hiding from his responsibility for political reasons.
We've seen over the course of this inquiry a lot of different events happen at different times. And yes, there were times when our different orders of government weren't as aligned as we would have liked to be. But it's obvious that Premier Ford chose to stand with people of Ottawa, people of Ontario, people of Canada, and not with others.
So again, the hearing continues in Ottawa today and throughout the week. Still no word on whether or not Doug Ford and Sylvia Jones will have to go, because now this court challenge will begin. We'll also be keeping a close eye on what happens inside Queen's Park. Today's session will resume later on this morning, and so we'll just have to see whether Doug Ford will show up to answer questions during question period. Back to you.
Yeah, we'll be watching for that. Chanel Call live for us outside of Queen's Park. Thank you.